and the vision is still the same. I want to earn as much money as I can for my family and be a world champion as a professional boxer. And nothing's changed from a 10, 11-year-old that used to say in primary school. You have them days where you'd say, what do you want to be when you're older? And I'll never forget, and my mum and dad can back me up on this, and I'll come out with my boxing gloves, shadow boxing. I lost it, and my dad said, look, we're going to box him again. Our home show was like 2 weeks after. So my dad said, we'll get him on that. So I boxed him on that, and he come into the venue, this kid, bowled in like he was the man, and I punched his head off him for 3 rounds. I didn't stop punching him. I've always believed talent can never get you to the top of the game. Talent's only 10%, if that. I think the main bit of his mindset, hard work, as much I keep saying, I think hard work beats talent when talent's having a day off.
Yeah, so, right, we'll crack on with it then, mate. So, I guess my first question is, Niall, it's dead simple, mate. I mean, where did this all start? The love for boxing. Obviously, I know you come from a family of boxers, silver medalist at the European Championships at only 21, and you're striving for massive things, mate. So where did it all begin for Niall Farrell?
It started, my dad was a boxer, had a few fights, but he never forced me into it. He kind of took me to the gym a few times. He always took me on the pads, even when I was younger, before I actually put a pair of gloves on. He'd always say, he's always taught me how to protect myself, and that's I think as every dad should, to be honest. And so I played football. I was a decent little footballer. I like to say myself, I was a decent footballer.
we've only got you to say that, mate. So that's fine. We'll take your word.
I'll have to get some backup on that. But I was decent. I was, if I remember right, I used to be top goal scorer. I was half decent. I used to, no matter what sport I'd done, I tried hard in it. I tried my best. And then I got to an age of 10, 11, and my dad said, you can only pick one. You've got to pick one and put your time into it. And a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, I didn't know what I was going to. Do you know what I mean? But all I knew from that age was I like punching people in the face and scoring goals, and that's what it comes down to. That's.
It's not a bad two. It's not a bad two.
That's what it comes down to, and from a 10, 11-year-old, I've never looked back. My dad's the reason I am the man today. In the training, as a man himself, he's taught me everything he knows, and it's a crazy time because my dad pushed me to my absolute limits, and it's paid off. In school, I never really done as good as I should have. I was all about the sport, stuff like that. The teachers, I was a bit of an all-rounder, but half decent table tennis, badminton, stuff like, can you ask that to school to do it? Now I've got boxing, and that all through school, I never had many mates because of the boxing. I'll be coming to this party, I've got training the next day. It was just never about, even from a young age, it was never about then, it was about the future. And it hasn't changed. From now I'm 22, and the vision is still the same. I want to earn as much money as I can for my family and be a world champion as a professional boxer. And nothing's changed from a 10, 11-year-old that used to say in primary school. You have them days where you'd say, what do you want to be when you're older? And I'll never forget, and my mum and dad can back me up on this, and I'll come out with my boxing gloves, shadow boxing, throwing loads of shots. And my mum and dad said people were sniggering and laughing in the crowd. Just obviously I was a young kid, do you know what I mean? They must have thought, see what happens with him. And then if they see me now, they think fair play to him, he's carried on, because not many people carry on, but I've got a good family behind me that's pushed me, and I love the sport. That's the big thing about it. The day I fall out of love with the sport, the day I'll put my gloves up. And that day won't be until I've earned enough money, I tell you that.
Well, I think it's a good point, mate. I mean, you sound like you're from a really humble background as well, like a warm family who've pushed you all that way. And I think that is key. When I play sports myself, it's you going everywhere with your old man, your old man driving you here, there, different gyms and stuff like that. So I completely get that, mate. And obviously with your brothers and your dad, so tell us a little bit about your family and the boxing sort of ethos that you've all got.
The boxing, our family, it's all about boxing. Like, that's the family talking of the day, every day. Like, we're always talking about it, and not even meaning to. It could be like my dad just tries to just like keep us switched on no matter what. Do you know what I mean? And like, obviously my dad boxed, so I got into it, and I love it. Then my brothers kind of just fell into it themselves, and when I say it, they're going to be better than me when they're older, because they are class. Like, the stuff they do is stuff that I only learned a couple of years ago at the age of like 19, and do you know what I mean? They're that good. Like, my younger brother, because they're both younger than me. My younger brother Patrick, he's had, I think, 24. He's lost 5, and then my youngest brother has had 21, lost 3, and like you get a lot of padded records in the amateurs, and I can honestly say my brothers have boxed the best in the country, and they beat the best in the country, and all it's down to, no word of all, is hard work and persistence. Like, you get knocked back. Well, I've had times in my life where we've sat down the table as a family, and I've cried my eyes out because I've lost a fight, and I've said, look, I don't know if I want to do it anymore. And you come with these struggles as you go through the boxing game, because it's not just one straight line. It's not with anything. It's going to be up, it's going to be down, you're going to go to your highest, and you're going to drop down to your lowest. It's how you pick yourself up from the lowest. It's what molds you. That's how it molds you, because you can either say, you know what, I'm done, can't be bothered for it anymore. I'm losing, I'm training this hard and I'm losing, but then it's how you push on from that is how you get the best of your ability. And my brothers have been there, they've been through the pain already. Like, one's 16, one's 14, and they've felt stuff that I've felt, do you know what I mean? And I've said to them, listen, no matter what happens now, it's not about now, it's about the future. So you push yourself through whatever. You lose, you've lost. No one wants to lose. You'll be upset. If you didn't, then you're in the wrong sport. But then you push yourself then, and you think, all right, what can I do better? And that's why we've got a good family around us, that when we lose, we cry together. When we win, we're at the highs together.
Well, I guess to be honest now, that's it's interesting. I mean, what do you remember your? Obviously, we'll get onto your brothers in a bit, because I've read a bit on your family and stuff. So, do you remember your first sort of amateur fight? And do you remember as well, mate? Do you remember your first scrap in general? Do you remember getting hit in the face for the first time? That feeling and what? Because if I get hit in the face, Niall, I don't want to go back there, mate. That's not something I want to go back to. So, what is different in a boxer's mentality?
The first time I remember, I was sparring, and you get hit in the face. Our bodies aren't created to be hit in the face. Do you know what I mean? It's not created to be punched, boom, in the face. But then, me personally, like, at the highest level, you get some people that are strong. You get these Kazakhs, these Uzbeks, these Russians, these Cubans, and they're all top level. And for me personally, I get a buzz out of fighting. I get that feeling now, like, I've trained hard for it and I'm going into a fight, and then that kind of just gets me through it. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't really get hit that much. I'm not one to be getting hit that much, but I remember my first ever fight. I remember my dad got, I'm sure, about 150 to 200 people to this fight. First ever one. And I boxed a very good kid from Liverpool. And it was probably one of the closest fights I've had. Just like, I was just so young in the game. Like, I didn't know what half the stuff I was doing. I was moving my head, my hands going there, I was going there. And all that got me through it was just my fitness and me just wanting to fight, me coming forward, come on, let's go. And then as the fights went on, you see, like, I started like creating my own little style, and I went from like my hands down to my hands up to showboating to letting them come on, spinning them off to rushing them to throwing loads of shots, and as like throughout my career, it's kind of like it's kept like evolving, and then now like I can do a bit of everything because of that. But I still, like, some of the fights I still remember now. Like, some stick out, some don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had 101 fights and I've lost 16. And I remember so many of them fights. Like, there was some where I thought I could have boxed loads better. Some where I won and my dad wasn't happy because I boxed crap. Do you know what I mean? And then I've had fights where I've boxed out my skin and I should have got a decision and I lost. And my dad went, don't worry about it, we're coming back, don't worry about it. We boxed him again and we smashed him. Do you know what I mean?
But that was a good feeling.
I went to this person's home show. went to his personal home show on my third fight, and I went to the most hostile crowd ever been in. It was horrible. Me as a 12-year-old, and I'm out waiting to go in some cold, freezing walkway with all the drunks that have been kicked out of their place. So I'm ready to go in, and they're all going, "Oh, I thought you won that, mate. I haven't even boxed yet." Do you know what I mean? And I'm looking around. I went in there. The ring was tiny. It was horrible. It was it was terrible. I was 12-year-old, and they were shouting, "Kill him!" I'm looking around thinking, "Where am I?"
Wow.
But then, I boxed him, and I can't really remember the fight. I just remember the scenes around and after, and I lost it. And my dad said, "Look, we're gonna box him again." Our home show was 2 weeks after. So my dad said, "We'll get him on that." So I boxed him on that, and he come into the venue. This kid bowled in like he was the man, and I punched his head off him for 3 rounds. I didn't stop punching him. I just carried on punching, and I smashed him easy. But little fights like that you remember because you're just a young kid. Do you know what I mean? I've boxed all around the world now. I've boxed in venues where there's been 400 people. I've boxed where there's been 10 people. Do you know what I mean? And I've boxed the best in the world, and I've boxed people who shouldn't have been in the ring with me, but that's boxing for you. Do you know what I mean? So
it's crazy. It's a lot of things that a lot of people haven't experienced, Niall. Obviously, I know probably a lot of the listeners won't have done. I certainly haven't. And you touched on it earlier. You talked about your family straight away. Now, your brothers obviously sound like tremendous fighters. People definitely to look at in the future. Obviously, you're only 22 yourself. But what is it like watching your brothers fight? Because I've got a little brother, and I'm 3 years older than him. And I couldn't imagine watching him, however competitive it is, seeing him get punched. Is that sort of something that gets trained into you? Do you just leave them to go fight, or do you still? I mean, could it be worse than your fights in some sense?
Yeah, definitely. My brother's boxing is the worst feeling possible. It's my heart hurts. And it's not because I don't believe in them. It's because I know how good they are. I know how hard they train. So I just want it all to pay off, and that's literally it. And I'm in the ring with them. So they're throwing shots. I'm throwing shots outside the ring. Ask anyone around the boxing world. They know me. When my brothers are in the ring, I'm throwing shots when they're throwing. Throw your jab. And it's because I know how good they are. I know that all they have to do is just do what they've been doing in the gym. They've done the runs, they've trained hard. Now just go in there and do it. And it's honestly one of the hardest. My mum used to say, "It's killing me watching you fight. It's killing me." And I used to go, "I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine. I'm enjoying it." And then when my brothers got in there, I was like, my chest was hurting. It was going like that. Everyone's going, "No, you're alright." I was like, "Sam. This is 5 fights before they're going in." So as the fights are going on, I'm thinking, "Oh no, it's getting closer." And then once they're in there, I'm throwing shots with them. I'm thinking, and it's just like I said before, they've had fights where I know they've won and they've lost, and I'm just I'm heartbroken for them because I think most kids, they have a loss that they shouldn't have lost, and then that can be them done. I'm done with the boxing, and that's the baddest thing about boxing. Sometimes the most talented of kids don't carry on because of these little bumps in the road, but the difference is with my brothers is they've seen it with me. They've seen me where I've been at my highs in the boxing, where I've been flying. I've been at my lowest, where I'm thinking, "What's going on?" Do you know what I mean? And so they know the journey, but other kids don't. So I have kids message me on Instagram, "What can I do about this? What can I do this?" And I give them all my advice. Any advice, I'm literally a message away, because I'm not one of these kids that there's a secret. I've got this secret. Just train hard and persistence. Try and work hard and persistence.
And when you are obviously being a boxer, Niall, is it a fine line between the mindset of a boxer? Because in a ring, is there a tendency to sometimes get a little bit aggressive, or are you always sort of calm and measured? Is that something maybe your dad's instilled into you when you maybe have been aggressive, or do you know what I mean? Is it sort of a calm and measured mindset now?
Definitely, I think it depends on the boxer you are. My dad runs a boxing club in King's Standing Second Seat, my dad's boxing club, and everyone in there, my dad's got over 40 boxers, and every one of there is different. Not every person's the same. Me, before a fight, I put my tunes on the speaker, I make it my own, I'm relaxed, I'm laughing, I'm having a laugh with the lads, I'm a bit of shadow. Then when I get in there, I'm switched on, I'm going to win this, I'm doing this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But then I know people that don't speak to anyone, sit there, headphones in, and just pump themselves up. But like me personally, I'm relaxed. When I'm relaxed and I'm flowing, that's when I'm at my best. That's when I perform my best. But like I've had times where I've lost my head and I've tried to have a fight with them. I love fighting. As much as I'm a boxer, I love a good fight. And then sometimes that's my downfall. So with my dad, he's trained me to get out of that. You don't need to fight. You're a boxer. Box your head off. And same as GB. With GB's help, they've both, my dad and GB, have taught me there's no need to fight with them. You're beating them up at range. Why would you need to go and try and have a big scrap with them?
Do you think now, as soon as you do that, as soon as you slip into that mindset, you've essentially lost the fight?
Yes and no. I believe sometimes it can work for you, but 9 times out of 10 it doesn't, because that's not my type of boxing. Even though I love that and I'll get a buzz out and I think, yeah, let's have a fight. What am I doing? Do you know what I mean? But I've learned now with my dad and GB that when I switch and I get into that mode, I know how to get out of it. There's certain things, I breathe, I relax, I think, instead of painting up and just, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I love that, that's not the way I box. If I want to win and be at my best, and if I've got a fight tomorrow, then why do I want to have a fight? I'll make it as easy as possible to get the whack move. Do you know what I mean? I'm boxing tomorrow, so there's no point having a fight after fight after fight. And I used to, look, my nose is broke anyway. I broke when I was younger, but I don't want to get any worse than this. Do you know what I mean? So,
no, I know you feel, mate. I've done it as well. It's not nice. But reverting back to when you were young now, did you ever have, obviously you've had your dad who was a massive inspiration for you. Did you ever have sort of a boxing idol growing up, someone who maybe you watched or someone you aspired to be like?
When I was younger, and I still now, I love Sugar Ray Leonard. I think he was tremendous. The way he boxed, the way he put his shots together. And then as I've got older, I still love him. And then you've got obviously your Auntie Joshua. Mate, he's done everything. He's went through the steps that I'm going through. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully, I can go on to win world titles like he has and earn as much money as he has. But I love Joe Kawasaki. He had a great partnership with his dad, and that's like me and my dad. Do you know what I mean? We see comparisons. You've got Marvin Hagler, Hearns, Roberto Duran, the Four Kings. It's a book, and if I don't read books, and I read that book, and it's one of the best books I've ever read. It's just so you can just relate to so much of it, and they didn't care about their records. They just wanted to fight. That's what it was like. I want to fight him, so let's get that fight on. And it's mad how looking at that to obviously this day and age, it's a business now. Boxing's a business. You gotta earn your tickets. You've got to earn money. You've got to make sure you earn enough money so you can pay for your opponent. Back then it was, if I want to fight you, we'll get it on. Let's go now. 2 weeks time. In my back garden if you want. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy how times have changed.
Is that the additional pressure, or has it been in the past now? Is it the fact that talent alone can't get you to the top of the game?
I've always believed talent can never get you to the top of the game. Talent's only 10%, if that. I think the main bit of his mindset, hard work, as much as I keep saying, I think hard work beats talent when talent's having a day off. I've read a quote before, and that's the quote I've always lived by. Because you could be training, running every morning, running every night, doing everything you possibly can. And then the one few days that the talent person thinks, I don't need to do this, I'm too talented, no one can beat me. That's when it catches up. So the talent just goes through it, then the hard work goes through it. And that's it. That's all you need, is to go from there to there. Then hard work beats talent. But then you see kids, I know kids that have got both, and they're tremendous, and you can see that they put the work in, and that's nice to see. Like someone who just doesn't think, I'm talented, I don't need to do that, or I don't need to run 4 times this week because I'm talented. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's not. There's no. I think you can put as much pressure on anything as you want, but it's how you deal with it as a person, especially in the boxing.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a sound piece of advice as well, mate. I think, yeah, definitely. I think it's the same in a lot of walks of life, isn't it? You know, you've got your talent, but you see so many athletes and superstars who have the most talent in the world, but they don't get to the top because they don't have that hard work and that dedication. And I guess that leads me on nicely to, you know, you getting onto the GB boxing scene. I mean, that must have been mental and sort of dreamlike.
Definitely. Look, everyone's dream as an amateur boxer is to get into the GB squad. Look, you're at the highest level as an amateur as you possibly can. Years and years of trying, of just boxing, just pushing myself. Look, I never done that well in school, and I tell my brothers, make sure you're doing this backup plan when I go into school. Say if you enjoy your sport, make sure you got a backup plan. Me, I didn't. It was either make it or you don't, and I'm fortunate that all my hard work has paid off. Me and my dad grafting hours and hours has paid off. So I'm living my dream now. I'm living my dream. Like, I'm getting paid to fly around the world and have fights. I can't think of anything better. Like, it's one of the dreams, do you know what I mean? So I think, like, I first had my assessment at 49 kilo. I never got on. 2 minutes the weight. Like, there was a lot on at the time. And it was heartbreaking. I thought, never got on, that's me done. Like, I'm going to get another assessment and all this. And like, loads of stuff goes through your head. You think, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough, simple as that. And then we come back a year later or 2 years later at 52 kilo, and I got on. Like, I got on, and it was one of the best feelings, like, possible. And it doesn't, now I'm used to it, but like it's still mad how I got here. Do you know what I mean? Like, the ups and downs I've had in the boxing, thank God it's come down to I'm doing something I love. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could have went the other way, and I could be working for my dad as a scaffolder. Like, my dad is a director, do you know what I mean? As a scaffolder, so I could be working with my dad on the scaffolding, but them mornings with the scaffolding tubes, they're not for me.
Yeah, it definitely takes. Hey, someone's got to do it, mate, and you know you can earn some decent cash doing it. I've heard, but is it when you first got onto that scene, the GB scene? Obviously, you were boxing with your dad, and it sounds like you had a brilliant scene there, really good relationship, and your dad's got you and your brothers to where they are today, so he's done an unbelievable job. Yeah. But when you get on the GB scene, what's the quality like the professionalism? Have you met anyone as well that you've just thought, wow? Up
GB, you see superstar, you see Joshua, you train with Joshua Watsy, you train in, like, half the people on the squad now, they are destined to be world champions, as well as myself. I know for a fact with the hard work I'm going to put in, I'll become a world champion. But, like, you see, like, I train up here with GB, and on the weekend I train with my dad, so we're still training, we're still working on stuff. Like, we've never stopped training together. But, like, the professionalism and, like, the facilities up here are second to none. They're one of the best in the world, and the medals show that. Like, all the S&C we do, all the sparring, the runs, everything's all it's all judged. So they're looking at everything, ways to make us better, and that's why we are the best in the world. That's why people want to get into GB, and that's why only so many can, because of how good they are, and that's it really. Like, it is mad. Like, you don't really notice until you go home on, like, the weekend, or you put a picture on with AJ, or you put a picture on with Watsy, or some of the other great fighters that have been in the gym, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're training with so, and then you're like, oh yeah, I am. But when you're there, they're just one of the lads. You have a bit of banter with them, you have a bit of crack, you slag each other, and that's literally GB down to a T. Before the session, you're having a laugh with each other, you're joking about, you do the session, you're strict, you're on it, serious. Then after, you're having a laugh again, and that's literally the GB lifestyle. You're just training, you have a laugh, you eat, you sleep, you refuel, you're constantly having a laugh with the lads and the girls, and that's what it's all about. That's why people love it so much, because of how good of a structure it's down to. Yeah.
And if I mean that sounds incredible. It's worlds away. It really is, and obviously, actually starting on your career, Niall, you know, one of your massive standout moments, which I actually remember, you're a young lad, you've achieved a silver medal in 2017 in Ukraine. Talk to us about that and the lead up to that, the whole experience and actually winning that medal with, you know, the national anthem behind you. I mean, what was that like?
It was a crazy feeling. It was a crazy feeling. Like, I'd boxed in the Europeans previous when I was like 16, 17, and I won a bronze. At the time I was wounded because I wanted more than a bronze, do you know what I mean? But looking back, it was a good achievement. Then obviously I wasn't supposed to go to the Europeans. It was out of me and another lad. We went to Uzbekistan for a training camp. I pushed myself to the limit and I got the nod for the WSB. The WSB was against Santaboyev, his name, in Kazakhstan. He was 17-1 in the WSB. So he'd had 17 fights and lost 1. That's just in the WSB. I think he had roughly over 400 fights. But he was like a known on the scene, been around for years. Fella, do you know what I mean? And me, I was 18, 19-year-old young lad who loves a fight. and I got the nod for the WSB, and it was, I boxed brilliant. I thought I'd done enough to win, so did so many people. Thought I'd done enough to get the nod, but it is what it is. And they gave me the go to go to the European. And same again, I was a young lad. I'd been to Europeans before, but this is on a senior level. This is on a different level. This is against, it can be like 32-year-old men with 6 kids. Do you know what I mean? These are grown men. I was just young, bit of bum fluff, young kid, and I still am. That's the mad thing about it. But so then I went there. I boxed in my first fight. I boxed Reece McFadden, a top operator. I beat Selby, Edwards, top kid, and I beat him like first fight, and I was nervous for it, like the first time I'd ever been on anything like that, like at such a high level as a senior. The next fight, it was Manuel Capai, an Italian, brilliant Olympian. Went in there. Oh, what's happening now? Yeah, so it was Manuel Capai, top operator, Olympian, like been around for years once again, and like I think a lot of people had me down and out after that, like for that fight, because he's a good kid, you know what I mean? But in my head, I thought I can beat this kid. I was watching the fights before, and I thought, you know, I've got this kid. I'm just gonna go for him. Just don't stop punching, and it's what I've done. I just didn't stop punching, didn't give him a chance to get into his groove or nothing, and I won a bronze medal, and I couldn't believe it. I was over the moon. But like, as much as you're over the moon, you're fighting the day. So it's like, all right, let's switch on now. I'm fighting tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? But then it was a mad tournament for me. It was I was still at 52. I was massive at the weight. I was struggling on the weight, and I had a drugs test. You have a drugs test after you win a medal, and I couldn't. You have to do a wee sample, and I couldn't win because of how dehydrated I was at the weight. Because I was so tall for it. I was one of the biggest in the world at the weight, and I couldn't wee, so I had to drink loads of water to obviously do a wee sample. And then I checked my weight after that, and I think I was 3.9 kilo over my fight weight. Bearing in mind, when you box, you have to weigh in that morning. So I was 3.9 kilo with the night before I was meant to box for a silver medal, and it was one of the hardest things to this day that I'd ever have to do. Got back, sweatsuit, training, punching the bag. I probably trained harder that night than I did for all my fights. I trained harder and threw more punches in my training session before than I did in my fights, like in the Europeans. And I went to bed, I believe, I lose 0.4 in my sleep of a kilo. And I think I went to bed at 1.7 over. So I thought I'd wake up 1.3, have a hot bath, get it off. So I woke up in the morning, 5 o'clock, 5:30, running a bath. So I thought, sound, I'll get the weight off, no problem. Weighing it was like 7, half 7 to 8. And ran the whole bath, put my hand in the bath, cold water, no hot water in the hotel. And I'm sitting there thinking, it's just not working out. I'm not going to make the weight. I'm like, what am I going to do? Threw my sweatsuit on, training, skipping, go, like literally, this is like hours before I was fighting. but I hadn't even weighed in. It was like I was so stressed. So I got to 0.1 over, and went to the weigh, and I was sitting on the bus, dehydrated, felt weak as anything. I weighed on the scales, bang, I was like 0.03. So I took my boxes off. So I weighed on naked, cooked myself, got on, and I was bang on the weight. And then after, I just had a big drink, fueled up, and it was probably, I boxed Brendan Irvine, another Olympian, top kid, Irish boy, and I boxed out my skin, probably one of the best performances I've had to date, and one of the hardest times I've ever had to make the weight because of it. But and it was just and then I beat him, won a silver medal in that box. Asanov in the final, another tough kid, double European champion, Olympian. I'm boxing decent kid. I'm boxing the best in the world. Do you know what I mean? So went in there and just boxed as hard as I could, as done everything I tried to do, and I lost on a split decision. Obviously, it is what it is. So looking back, did I do enough? I could have done loads more better. But you learn from it, and that's the be-all end all. You learn from stuff. If you don't learn from a fault, then you're in the wrong sport, because if you're not learning, you're just going to go in and lose again. Do you know what I mean? So
now, does the I mean, obviously what you were just describing there, I mean, that sounds absolutely mental. I mean, you've seen it on UFC Fight Pass and stuff like that, when you've got all the fighters that are going on, they're putting all these towels over each other, trying to shed weight, and is it healthy?
It's not healthy. It's not healthy, but at the same time, in boxing, international, I can make my life so much easier if I'm tall for the weight, because I can just jab, I can throw a backhand, left hook, I can hit him clean, and I don't have to get into a fight with them. And that's what it was. I held the weight for a long time. I won a lot of good things with that weight. But me now being at bantamweight, I feel even better at the weight. I feel much stronger. I'm still tall, but I'm just so much stronger. And after the Europeans, I went to the Worlds. I boxed a Moroccan in the first fight. I was still struggling on the weight, but I wasn't very well. I had a bad stomach. I'd come under the weather. I wasn't feeling the best. I boxed the Moroccan, beat him, but didn't feel the best. In myself, I was boxing, I thought, I'm not really feeling 100% here. But won that, boxed, not the day after that, against the world number 2, Colombia. And I just couldn't get into it. I got into it in the last round, and pinned him in the last round, but it was just too little too late. But it's one of them things, I learned, but then after that, I was going to try and hold out for the Commonwealths. In 2018, Gold Coast, I believe. But I couldn't do it anymore. I'd outgrown the weight. I was that tall for it. It was getting to a stage where it would have been very unhealthy to try and make it. So sat down with my dad, the GB coaches, and we decided to move up. And it's probably one of the best decisions I've done. I've boxed at this weight now. I've boxed for my first fight at 56 kilo. I boxed the former world champion, and lost to him on a split, and everyone in the venue thought I'd done enough to beat him, and that it just shows you what level I was at. And now I'm even better. I've had very bad luck with my hand. From when I was younger, I hurt it, left it. It's wear and tear, it's boxing, and I left it for so long, and I had steroid injections, wasn't doing nothing. I left it for so long, and then what happened was, I was having scans. GB were like, we can't find nothing wrong with it. We don't know what's wrong with it. I couldn't even punch people with it properly. I was fighting with, I've had over 25, 30 fights with GB. And really, every time I box, I've had a bad hand. And as the fights are going on, it's getting worse. So then it got to a stage, I boxed out in Turkey. This is the last time I boxed. I boxed out in Turkey in the Amat Comet. I had 4 fights in 4 days. And on the last fight, as the days were going on, I couldn't punch properly. I couldn't do pads to warm up. I couldn't do anything. I was in that much pain. But I just wanted to win that bad. I put it to the back of my mind. So I'm punching people, and my hand was thinking. And as each tournament was going on, it was just getting worse, and I couldn't think of it. I was thinking, what's happening here? And they said to me, after that, I won that tournament. And they said to me, I think we might have to operate to see what's wrong with it. So, that's the last resort. I don't want an operation, but they said, we're going to have to open up, see what's up with it. They opened up my hand and I'd split the tendons down to the bone. So every time I was punching, I don't know how to explain it, but it looked like a sack. And the sack was opened up, so the bone was actually through the sack every time I was punching. So all this time I've had pain in my hand, that's what the reason was. And that was the last time I boxed, was the Amit Comet, 2 years back.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that now, because obviously you had an incredible 2017, ranked 10th in the world, obviously, getting the silver. What's obviously, for example, you've still got your brothers who are, making their way up and stuff, but what's it been like sitting on the sidelines, obviously watching your brothers, and then obviously not only that, but seeing your rivals sort of progress since you've been out?
It's probably been the hardest time in my boxing that I'll probably have ever, because it's like, it's no fault of my own. And that's like, if I'd done something and I deserved it, then I'd put my hand up and say, look, it's because, I don't know, I fell over and punched the wall by accident or something like that. But it was just literally from fighting. Like, fighting in the ring. Not even like, I'm not one to fight outside the ring, so it's not me. So it was in the ring. I've hurt my hand during the ring. But it's been hard. It's been very tough. But like I've said before, I've got a good family around me that's kept me on the straight and narrow. It's kept me on it. Like, I've been able to work on things that I wouldn't have been able to work on, like my strength. I felt like I've got that much strength now due to something that was a bad time. And I'll be straight, there's times when it goes through you and you think, will I box ever again? Look, I've been out the ring 2 years now, and I've been training for the whole 2 years. Not like I've had time off. I've been training, thinking I'm coming back. But the worst thing about it was, I had the operation, and I thought, all right then, it's a very bad situation. I've been pushed back, and this is me at my lowest. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm at the low now. We're gonna get through it, no matter what. Family's pushing me. GB were brilliant. This is what you got to do. Rehab, and it started to get better. And I thought, I'm back. I'm getting back now. So then I sparred. I started back sparring. It was a little bit sore, but I thought, look, it's nothing too bad. Look, it's gonna have to get used to getting punched with and stuff like that. And then when was it? Some countries come over, and I was sparring one of the lads. And as he's come in, I've stood back and I went, what? And as I punched, I just felt a shock went all the way through up to my neck, and I went, oh, what's happened? Look, and my hand was killing. So then obviously they pulled me out of the split. I've finished the round, and then I've got out, and my hand was killing. I'm icing it. I'm doing all the rehab, and they said, we're going to send you to the specialist to see what he thinks. So I went to see him. He went, all right, Niall, how are you? Rest it. So I went to Sam. I rested it, thinking, rest, not be sound, it's me back to normal again. So then rested it, tried to get back, it's still sore, couldn't put my finger, was stuck like that. And I was going, well, that's not normal, do you know what I mean? I'm meant to punch with that. So went back to some, I think it was a microbiologist, and they said, I'm going to have another operation on my hand. So bearing in mind I'd had one, it's unheard of to have 2 operations. I had 2 operations, 10 months. And because I'd done everything I possibly could after the first operation, I was sitting there thinking, my boxing career is done. Like, I've literally done everything I possibly can, and for some reason they said, look, I'm not going to box. So what's going on? And it was horrible. Like, you can only do so much. Do you know what I mean? And I pushed myself as much as I could, like, on the runs and stuff like that. But in the back of my head, I'm thinking, how am I going to get better? Do you know what I mean? I can't spar, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it was a bad time. It was a bad time, but I'm better now than I ever was. And as mad as it sounds, and as hard as a blessing it was a blessing in disguise. And I can say that now because of how much I've come on other things like my strength. And it's moulded me into a better person. Like, I'm doing loads of charity work now. I'm becoming a trustee for it's called All Support Charity, and little things like that. I've always been to my charity, but now because of my hand, it's giving me time to fully push myself towards other things and keep my mind occupied in other ways. And I made the best of a bad situation, and I can't wait to be back boxing. I can't be back. I can't wait to have a fight. And
What's the hunger like now, Niall?
you wouldn't believe. As bad as it is, I can't wait to have a good fight with someone. I can't wait to show everyone I'm back. I'm back. And like you said, I was watching Peter McGrail. He's a top kid. He's been around for years, and he's smashing it. And he's done what he's needed to. He's qualified for the Olympics for Tokyo, and it was just like. And at the time, it was like I was looking at my hand, and then he was doing brilliant. So I was thinking, like, I've got nothing, but my hands smashed up. I can't even do anything. I can't even justify anything. But like I said, it's made me into the person I am now, and I feel like I'm a better person in and out the ring. I've been able to push myself in other ways, and it was a bad time for the whole family, but we've all got through it together.
Well, Niall, it seems like you've got the perfect mindset. I mean, you could go one way, you could go the other way. If you went the other way, a negative mindset is something we all slip into now and again. But, you know, when you have life-changing moments like that, you've done remarkably to see the other side, mate. 'Cause that's massive to be able to do that. And I guess, reverting back to the ring, what do you think? I mean, I read something in an article the other day, and it was talking about, is it cowardly to be frightened or nervous in the ring? I mean, what's your take on that? I mean, is every fighter sort of nervous before a fight? Is it cowardly to be frightened? What do you reckon on that?
That's the most silliest thing I've ever heard. Being a coward. For someone to step into the ring, you're a modern day gladiator. That's what you are. How can you be a coward if you're getting in the ring to have a fight with someone? Dog, I've had 101 fights, and I get nervous. When I was boxing down at Comet, before I went into the ring, I got sick everywhere from nerves. Everywhere. Just before I was about to go, I had to get sick in the bucket and then get in the ring. Dog, nerves, you can do two ways. Some people bottle it under nerves and they go, oh, I don't know, like, but that's where you've got to have your self-belief to go, you know what, I've done everything I can, and I'm going to show it now, and that's where I've turned it into that. I used to be bad on nerves, and I still am. Everyone has nerves. I get nervous walking to certain shops, but I don't know the layout. Do you know what I mean? People are nervous people. Nerves aren't a bad thing. It's how you deal with them, and that's the big thing. It's not a bad thing to be nervous. When I've got nerves, I can box at my best. When I haven't got nerves, that's when I'll be thinking, wait there, why am I nervous? Why am I switched on? Do you know what I mean? And but everyone, like you said, everyone's different, so people deal with it different. But like, nerves aren't a bad thing. Nerves can be your best friend, but also can be your worst friend. But it's how you deal with it. Yeah,
I mean, I saw it and I thought that, I mean, that can't be what boxers think, because there's got to be nerves there. With I mean, I'm from obviously Leeds, as you know. We're talking just a bit off air, and I guess who's flying the flag for Leeds at the minute is Josh Warrington, world champion, doing absolute bits at the minute. Hopefully get him on the podcast at some point. But obviously the Midlands, it's a massive area. How's the scene looking at the minute?
It's exciting, I'll tell you that, it's exciting. Josh Warrington, he's smashing it, he's brilliant, do you know what I mean? That's one of the good cases of hard work pays off. He trains hard and it pays off, and it's crazy you say that because I'm sponsored by Luke Roper, and so's he. Do you know what I mean? So I'm seeing all the stuff he's putting on. I'm wearing the same stuff as him.
World champion gear.
World champion, yeah, but yeah, the Midlands is, like you said, it's a big area and it's an exciting time. There's loads of talent coming through. Loads of talent. There's probably too many to mention. That's how big it is, and the good thing about the Midlands, no one's bothered about fighting people. Like, if there's a fight there, they'll take it. And that's what it's about, because it's about fighting. That everyone's in this game to earn money and fight. That's the two things. Do you know what I mean? And the Midlands I think it's a great thing to have behind you. So say if you're like, you could have a lot of rivalries just in your hometown. Do you know what I mean? And you could have 4 fights, and all of them could be danger fights. They could all be good kids, and what a brilliant way to step up to the next level after you clear up in the Midlands. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's such an area where boxing sort of, like, when I sort of think of boxing in the UK, it is the Midlands. You know, that's where you sort of think of it. So it's it's not been deprived of superstars, but at the minute it's pretty sort of like 10, 15 years. It's not really been at the top of the scene, has it? So
yeah, but I believe the years to come that it will take off. It will be known as one of the best. The Midlands top kids are coming out of. Like, you got good kids the way I am now, but I believe that I could get into a ring with them tomorrow and I'd beat them. Look, that's the belief I've got in myself. That's not me being cocky. That's me knowing how good I am. Because I know I could get in with some. I know some. I'm not going to mention their name, but I know some of the lads that I could box tomorrow. I could box every day of the week and I'd beat them. Like, do you know what I mean? And these are meant to be top kids, but there's levels, and I've been boxing international since the age of 14, and I haven't even showed my levels yet. I haven't even showed how good I am. I've gave you a little snippet with the Europeans, silver, and like being 10th in the world, but that's just a snippet of what I'm capable of. And the years to come with the Birmingham Commonwealths, that is going to be. That's when I'll show you, because that's before then. You've got the Worlds and the Europeans, but hometown Commonwealths. That's when everyone's going to see how good Niall Farrell is, and going on from that to Paris. 2 years later, the Olympics, once again. Yeah. But look, then after that, you've got the pro scene, and that's when I know for a fact I'm going to clear up. I know for a fact, because I was trying too hard for it not to pay off. I trained too hard. Me and my dad put too much work in for it not to pay off. And that's the mindset I've got. If I'm going to train this hard, it's going to pay off. I'm going to make sure of it. Because I haven't sacrificed my whole life for me to not earn enough money to look after my family, to give dad, mom, listen, don't worry about anything. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I've got in my head. I'm going to push myself to my limits now, so later on in life, when I've got my own family, that I don't have to worry about all of that, because I've put everything on the line. I've sacrificed my whole life to be where I'm going to be, and that's at the top. And I believe I'm going to be there. I really do.
Well, mate, I think that's a brilliant line to end on, or lines. I think that was yeah, mate. That's where can people find you, and when are we going to see you back in the ring, Niall?
You can find me on my Instagram at Niall Farrell 97. I've got Twitter, Waka_Farrell, and I hope to be in the ring as soon as possible. Let me tell you. And once I am in the ring, I'll show you the highlights, and I'll let everyone know, because it's been a long time. So the next person that gets in the ring is going to get a beating, I tell you that.
No, we'll look forward to it, mate. But Niall, thank you so much, mate. It's been brilliant. I'll let you have your dinner now. It's been a long day for you.
Having me on, I've really enjoyed it.